In 2026, the average first date costs $189. That number went up 12.5% in the last year alone. According to the Institute for Family Studies, 58% of young men in America say they cannot afford to date at all. They are not saying they don't want to. They are not saying they're not trying. They literally cannot afford it. Hold that number, 58%, more than half. It is not just a dating statistic. It is a class problem, and it is tearing apart something most people assumed was free. Picture three men, same age, same city, same app. Marcus is 27. He drives for DoorDash. Derek is 31. He manages projects for a mid-sized company. Alex is 29. He works in finance. All three are single. All three are on the apps. But from there, everything diverges. Their income shapes how people read them, and the dating market treats that signal as a sorting rule. This is not a story about why dating is hard. This is a story about what class does to intimacy and what intimacy reveals about class. We'll get to what each of these three men is actually up against in a moment. First, something worth your attention, then straight back to Marcus. Hey, it's CJ, the creator of this channel. If you ever thought making money on YouTube requires fancy equipment, special software, a microphone, an expensive camera, and professional editing skills, I want to challenge you. This video right here is faceless. It was made using a software I made called topic2video.com. There is no camera and no host, not even a script writer or a voice actor. It was made from a simple topic I thought of and was interested in. The visuals, the voiceover, the script, the music, the captions, the thumbnail, and the description were all generated automatically. Start your automated faceless YouTube channel with topic2video.com today. Now, Marcus, 27, DoorDash, 11 dates, $1,000. Here's what that actually looks like from the inside. Marcus earns roughly $38,000 a year before expenses. After gas, insurance, and maintenance on the car he uses for deliveries, his take home is closer to $28,000. He lives with his parents, which puts him in company with 32% of men aged 25 to 34, according to the 2025 census. He is not there because he gave up. He is there because the math didn't work any other way. For 8 months, Marcus used dating apps seriously. He went on 11 dates. A coffee date ran him $40 to $60. A dinner date cost $90 to $120. Add in transportation and the kind of grooming and clothes that don't read as a liability on a first impression, and each date ran closer to $100 on the low end. 11 dates, roughly $1,000. That's 3.5% of his take-home income spent on people he mostly never saw again. For someone earning $200,000 a year, that same $1,000 is noise. For Marcus, it's a week and a half of groceries. He's not on the apps anymore. What ended Marcus's 11 dates wasn't a single blunt rejection. It was quieter than that. Data from Hinge's 2026 transparency report shows that profiles listing incomes under $75,000 receive 62% fewer likes from women, even after controlling for photos and bios. The profile itself becomes a signal, and 35% of women on major dating platforms use implicit filters, not explicit income requirements, but filters on job titles, employers, and education levels that function as proxies. Only 8% of women state income requirements openly in their bios, but the filtering happens regardless. Marcus didn't get told no, he just got silence, and the silence had a pattern. General social survey data from 2025 shows that women earning $65,000 to $70,000 are still far more likely to prefer partners earning above their own range, especially in long-term dating contexts. Not every woman, not even most women, but enough that it shows up clearly and consistently in the data. The question wasn't whether women were being shallow. The answer is not greed, it's inheritance, a cultural script written across generations that tied a woman's long-term security to a man's economic status. The script was not authored by the women living under it. They absorbed it from a system that, for decades, told them a man's worth was measured in what he could provide. That script is still running. Every Marcus didn't arrive at $38,000 by making poor decisions. A lot arrived there because the job that would have given their father a union wage, full benefits, and a path to a mortgage no longer exists. Between 1980 and 2010, the United States lost roughly 5 million manufacturing jobs. Union membership was cut in half. Real wages for men without college degrees have declined since 1979, not stagnated, declined. The jobs that replaced factory work were service jobs and gig work, food delivery, rideshare, retail, warehousing. The IRS estimates that the median Uber driver nets around $14 an hour after expenses. There is no pension, there is no sick leave, there is no career ladder. And layered on top of all of this, the opioid epidemic, driven first by pharmaceutical marketing of prescription painkillers starting in the mid-1990s, then by fentanyl, removed an estimated 1.5 million prime age men from the workforce entirely by 2026, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. These were not weak men. These were men in communities where the economic floor had collapsed. Marcus is not always a failure of ambition. He is a product of structural collapse, standing in a dating market that prices him against a standard built for his father's economy. Derek earns $82,000 a year as a project manager in Austin. By most measures, he is doing well. He is not doing well in the dating market. He spends roughly the national average on dates, $189 per outing, per the BMO Real Financial Progress Index. He goes on about 9 dates a year, which is the survey average for his demographic. That's $1,700 a year on dating. Meanwhile, his rent consumes 38% of his income. Austin, like most major metros, has seen rent increase faster than wages for the better part of a decade. Derek is not broke, but he is not far from it. More importantly, he keeps not making it past date 3. Derek is caught in a trap that is harder to explain than Marcus's and harder to see. The top 10% of men on dating apps receive 58% of all likes from women. That's not a figure from a think piece. It's OkCupid internal data from 2014 that was replicated by Hinge's own analysis in 2026. Derek earns $82,000. In most of America, that is a respectable income. But in a dating ecosystem where attention concentrates this heavily at the top, being solidly above average is not the same as being competitive. He is above the floor, but below the threshold where dating becomes frictionless. The General Social Survey from 2025 found that 68% of women still want a financially superior partner, and that preference has not weakened as women's earnings have risen. In fact, as women have gained economic independence, the expectation that men out-earn them has, in some measures, become more fixed, not less. Bureau of Labor Statistics data from 2026 shows that women now out-earn men in 40% of metro area couples. The economic reality has shifted. The expectation has not kept pace. Women gained economic independence but retained the preference for male financial superiority. Men lost economic stability but retained the social expectation to provide. Neither group chose this arrangement. Some may argue otherwise, but both are paying for it, and they are increasingly blaming each other for it. That is what happens when a structural problem has no obvious structural face. There is a small but growing counter-narrative. In some upper-middle class and affluent circles, the provider script has been rewritten. The stay-at-home boyfriend is no longer scandalous. Some women in dual-income professional households now financially support partners who earn less or not at all. It exists. It is documented. But for Derek, this option is not available in any practical sense. The stigma of male economic dependency is still powerful in the working and middle class. A man who earns less than his partner and is visibly supported by her faces social costs that most men in Derek's tier are not willing to absorb. Many women in that tier are not offering that, so Derek is stuck in the gap, earning too much to qualify for sympathy, earning too little to be frictionless, spending $1,700 a year to compete in a market algorithmically tilted toward the men above him. The women he dates are not villains in this story. Many of them are running their own math. A teacher earning $65,000 or a healthcare administrator earning $72,000 who has been told by culture, by family, by every romantic model she grew up watching that her long-term security depends on partnering with someone who out-earns her. She can support herself. The expectation was written before she could. Alex is 29. He earns $240,000 in finance in New York. He is not thinking about dating costs. He is on Raya, an exclusive app that screens applicants by social status and cultural cachet. His dates average $345. He met his wife at a charity gala when he was 27. She is a lawyer. They were married at 28. He has not used a dating app in 2 years. Alex is not morally superior to Marcus or Derek. He is the diagnostic proof that the system is functioning exactly as designed for some people. His experience is not a fairy tale. It has a technical name, assortative mating. It describes the well-documented tendency for people with similar educational and economic backgrounds to partner with each other. Princeton's sociological review found that 78% of marriages among the top 1% are intra-elite. These couples meet through alumni networks, professional events, and exclusive social circles that are, in practice, gatekept by family wealth and institutional access rather than personal merit alone. Alex spends 40% less time per successful match on apps when he uses them because high status profile signals accelerate outcomes. Elite university listed, profession visible, neighborhood implied by the photos. The algorithm is not working against him. The algorithm is built for him. What Alex's experience reveals is diagnostic. When dating becomes frictionless for the wealthy and structurally impossible for the working class, what gets sorted is not just romantic compatibility. What gets sorted is who forms stable households, who has children and when, who builds intergenerational wealth through a dual professional income under one roof, who remains single into their 30s and 40s, economically stagnant, outside the household formation engine that still drives wealth accumulation in America. The median married household in the United States holds 9 times the net worth of the median single household. That gap is not explained by love. It is explained by pooled income, shared housing costs, combined investment, and compounding time. When Marcus doesn't form a household, he loses a wealth-building structure. When Alex does, he gains a financial merger. This is not a dating story anymore. It is a wealth transfer story. The romantic outcomes are the economic outcomes. Pull back from all 3 men for a moment. There is a perspective missing from this story, and without it, the story is incomplete. The women in it are not bystanders. They are co-participants in a system that is also trapping them. The teacher earning $65,000 who keeps seeking a partner earning $110,000 or more is not irrational. She is responding to a lifetime of cultural instruction that told her security is indexed to her partner's income rather than her own. The woman who out-earns her partner but still feels the pull to marry up is not being unreasonable. She is caught between a new economic reality and a very old cultural script, and the marriage market has not updated to reflect the change. The expectation trap is bidirectional. Women have more economic independence than any generation before them, and the marriage market still tells them they need a provider, so they wait. And the pool of men who qualify by her expectations and by the market's metrics keeps contracting. Dating apps did not create any of this, but they made it visible, measurable, and faster. Before apps, class filtering in dating was implicit. A person's neighborhood, their social circle, their gym, these things filtered compatibility quietly. Apps made the filter explicit. You list your job. You can list your income. You can filter by education. The sorting that once happened through social proximity now happens through an algorithm, and the algorithm reflects what people actually want rather than what they say they want. Match Group, the parent company of Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, and Match, reported $4.2 billion in annual revenue. Pew Research and SEC filings from 2026 show that 80% of paying subscribers on these platforms are men. Working class men are paying $19 a month to compete in a market algorithmically weighted against them. The irony is structural. The apps that were supposed to democratize dating have, in practice, quantified and accelerated the class stratification that was already there. In 2025, a counter movement appeared on TikTok tagged Broke Boy Summer. It accumulated 500 million views. Men proposed park walks, hikes, and coffee instead of $189 dinners. It was a creative workaround, and it solved exactly nothing structurally, even as it gave a lot of men a cheaper Friday night. This is where the story stops being about dating and becomes about something larger. Delayed marriage leads to delayed family formation. Delayed family formation leads to fertility decline. The United States birth rate is at its lowest recorded level. Working class men dropping out of the dating market does not stay contained to dating. Research consistently shows that household formation is one of the primary motivators for sustained labor market participation in men. When men stop forming households, a measurable share of them also begin to withdraw from the workforce, enough to show up in Bureau of Labor Statistics participation data. And elite assortative mating, Alex's world, concentrates wealth. Two professionals pooling $400,000 in combined income, investing together, buying property together, raising children who will attend the same schools their parents attended, who will enter the same networks. This is how wealth stratifies across generations without anyone having to do anything explicitly unfair. The system just runs. Meanwhile, a generation of working class men has been handed a message, not in a speech, not in a policy, but through the accumulated signal of 1,000 silent rejections and ghosted conversations. The message is, you are not worth partnering with. The downstream consequences of that message, withdrawal, despair, susceptibility to narratives that give the pain a target, are already visible. They were visible before the term gender war existed. The gender war is not the cause, it is the symptom. Marcus is not on the app anymore. He is not consumed by rage at women. He is trying to figure out what he is supposed to be in a world that built a role for him, and then quietly dismantled the conditions that made the role possible. He did not fail the system. The system was redesigned around him without telling him. Derek is still dating, still spending money he doesn't have on outcomes that rarely materialize, still performing a version of provider masculinity that the economy can no longer actually support for someone at his level. Still wondering if he is doing something wrong, when what he is doing wrong is believing this is solely him. And Alex is fine. Alex is the proof of concept. The evidence that when you have enough, the whole apparatus becomes irrelevant. No friction, no filter, no math, just the life the system was built to deliver. The dating crisis is not a gender war. It is a class war, one that looks like a gender war because economic collapse and romantic rejection feel exactly the same in your chest. When a man cannot find a partner, he does not feel the GDP figures or the union decline charts or the rent-to-income ratios. He feels it as something wrong with him. That feeling is one of the most effective ways a structural problem hides itself. It turns a policy failure into a personal one. It turns a market distortion into a character flaw, and it keeps the actual conversation about wages, about housing, about the economy we built and who it was built for from ever quite getting started until now. Hey, it's CJ, the creator of this channel. Before you go, let me tell you something that's going to sound strange after the video you just watched. I have never recorded a single second of audio for this channel. I have never edited a clip. I have never sat down and written one of these scripts by hand. And yet here we are all the way to the end, and you stayed. There was no one in a recording booth, no editor cutting between scenes, no designer making the thumbnail, no writer hunched over a laptop pulling the script together. The whole thing, every frame, every word, every cut came out of a single tool. It's called topic2video.com, and I'm the one who built it. My name's CJ, this is my channel, and the reason I'm telling you any of this is because for many years, I was on the other side of the screen watching videos exactly like this one and wondering how the people making them figured it out. I wasn't a creator. I couldn't edit. I wasn't going to put my face on camera, but I could see what was happening. Ordinary people running faceless channels and making real money while I sat there with ideas and no way to ship them. That gap is what topic2video.com closes. Here's the mechanic. You type a topic. The system researches it, drafts a script, generates the voiceover, builds the visual scene by scene, captions everything, cuts the shorts, and cues the upload to YouTube. 12 production stages running in sequence. Approval gates wherever a human judgment call matters, so you're never surrendering control, just the parts you didn't want to do anyway. No camera, no microphone, no software to learn. This video is the proof. Everything I just described, that's what you've been watching. If it held your attention, if it taught you something, if it made you feel something, that's what the tool produces. And your first one is free, topic2video.com. Go find out what you can make. I'll see you in the next one.